Hey, what's up? It's Paul Wild. Shout out to Montreality. Already. Poet. In the classroom, I was very thoughtful, you know what I'm saying? My mom was a teacher. She taught for like 30 years, so you know what I'm saying? Education was big to her. So, but she taught me in different ways than traditional ways of teaching. Like my mom would teach with song. Like you know how you teach you learn the ABCs by, you know, the melodies and stuff. That's how she would teach a lot of things, make me remember things I'm trying to remember or learn or memorize. She would put it in a song so that I would remember it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of the basis for my love for music as well too, was from my mother. So in the classroom it was the same way. You know, I was very thoughtful and creative. I didn't always, you know, accept whatever the teacher was telling me, man. You know, I ain't believe in dinosaurs for the longest. I thought that was the biggest hoax ever, man. I still be thinking they faking on us, man. But you know, that just be, I just think outside the box like that. But you know, in the classroom, though, I made good grades for the most part. But you know, in America, the way the education system is set up is all based on memorization. If you do the work and you memorize it, then you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get good grades. Odds and ends type things like cutting people grass, mowing people grass, whatever way you could hustle or come up with a buck, like an actual job, like 9-to-5 type job or like part-time job. I think my first one was working at Toys R Us or Babies R Us. Actually, my first job was, matter of fact, working at Target. I was I think 14 years old. I lied on my application. You gotta be like 16 or something to work there. I lied and said I was 14. I came with some fake birth certificate or something. I ended up working there for a few weeks, but then they kind of found out I was too young, man. But you know, that just goes to show, man, I was, you know, getting my grind on, hustling however I could since I was at a young age. I worked at James Coney Island. That's where I got the nickname Paul Wall. Matter of fact, my boy B Sykes. Shout out to my boy B Sykes. He gave me the nickname Paul Wall because I was, you know, working in fries. I always rhyming. My boy said, man, I'm gonna call you Paul Wall. He gave me that nickname. I used to work at me and Chamillionaire, my boy Lou Hawk, D Davis. We all used to work at this place called the Gallup Polls. It's a polling place where you would they would do like surveys. So we would call and we just called random numbers. You know, we ain't call, it was all on computer, but we just got a little headset on. We calling people, hey, what's up? This is Paul Wall calling on behalf of the Gallup Polls. I want to do a survey with you about Walmart. And you know, they hang up in your face or they don't, but if they do the survey, you got paid. So that's kind of where I think me and Chamillionaire really just find the craft of the gift of gab of having a cold mouthpiece and being able to talk your way into talking to somebody on the phone for 5 minutes. The longer you talk to them, the more you get paid. So we was on the phone all day long, just talking, just working on that mouthpiece. And then next thing you know, man, you know, it just goes to show, you know, it just fell right in line with being a writer and a performer and a rapper. You know, it just helped me step up my mouthpiece skills, man. So, man, all my jobs I had, man, like that, all those little odds and ends jobs, man, they all contributed some way, form, shape, fashion, you know, to the hustle skills of who I became and who I am today. My first big paycheck, I mean, there's different levels to your first paycheck. There's your first independent paycheck, there's your first major paycheck, there's your first publishing check, your first royalty check. You know, there's all different type of levels. At one point I bought a house, one time I bought a Bentley. You know, my first independent paycheck, I might have went and bought a slab and a new grill. You know, when me and Chamillionaire was doing it on Paid in Full, we was on a much smaller level. We had smaller goals at the time. So, you know, getting a new watch and grill and chain, that was the goal. You know, getting a new car, a new slab, that was the goal, you know what I'm saying? But then when you get to the major label, you got major goals. You want that house on the lake, you know, that 10,000 square foot house with the lake in your backyard, man-made lake in your backyard, and the God-made lake in the backyard of that, and the golf course in your front yard. You know, that was the goal then. And you know what I'm saying? So then there's different levels to your first paycheck. But I think my first one, I remember that slab, that grill and chain and watch, you know what I'm saying? That was the life, you know what I'm saying? Pints for days, and smoke for days, you just enjoying yourself, man. That was a great time. Man, I don't know, man. It's hard to say, man. Ain't no telling me shit. I don't know. I was in a previous life. I was whoever the first person to sip drink. That's who I was. Whoever that person was, that was me. In my past life. So thank you, self. Thank you, self, for mixing drink and soda together. Thank you, because it was all because of you.
So whoever, that's who I was in my former life, man. Whoever the first mud sipper was in the world.
All all time, I don't know, you know, I like South Park, you know what I'm saying? South Park was funny. I like The Simpsons. The Simpsons was funny growing up, you know what I'm saying? Other like Tom and Jerry, them type of Looney Tune type cartoons was funny. My favorite of all time though, man, it's probably gotta be somebody from like a cereal box like Toucan Sam or somebody like that, you know, Tony the Tiger, one of them type of, you know what I'm saying, cartoon characters where they wasn't really an actual cartoon show, but they was a cartoon, you know what I'm saying, or the Big Mix-O, rest in peace, the Big Mix-O, the Big Mix box, you know what I'm saying, that's my favorite cartoon. My favorite video game, you know, I like to play Super Mario Brothers or, you know, Madden back in them early Madden days. I ain't mess with Tecmo, but, you know, I ain't mess with Techno Bowl at all, that wasn't me, but, you know, I think NBA Jam was one of the best ones, man. Back in the days, we used to have fun doing that. You know, that's when the, you know, it was going down. Shout out to the Rockets, you know, Clutch City, Houston, you know, so we got to represent for that. Of course, back in the days, you know, all them Street Fighter days and all that was good, you know what I'm saying, but Sonic the Hedgehog, I played a lot of Sega Genesis back in the day, so you know what I'm saying, Sonic the Hedgehog was definitely one of my favorites too. I mean, it's whatever your own self-definition is, but you know, that being said, it's a lot of people who, it's a lot of sheeps out there who think they wolves, there's a lot of frogs out there who think they tigers, you know what I'm saying, but so it's people like that, there's different levels of what G is. Sometimes G mean you actually a gangster and you doing gangster stuff. But sometimes G just mean you being 100 and you keeping it real and you taking care of your people and doing things and your responsibilities that, you know, that's really what a man is. But, you know, the word man got thrown around so much by boys that now we got to stand apart from the boys who calling themselves men to now the men calling themselves G's is doing, you know, that's really what men's supposed to do. But, you know, even that being said, the real G's, the real gangsters is looking at, you know, the men like, man, yeah, y'all doing that, but we real G's and G shit, so there's different levels to what, you know, what type of G it is, but that's what the G mean to me.
If I was to say something about Paul Wall, you probably grabbing your pants, cause I'm white and he's white, so he's like my competition, I mean, right? Nope, Paul Wall is dope.
I don't know, cause you know, man, my boy Eminem shouted me out about 4 or 5 times, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly which one you talking about, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the greatest all time Eminem, you know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate the love, baby, the shout out, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a few over the years. Some of them, some people try to portray as, oh, he was dissing you or something like that. Some of them, he was clearly showing me love. But even the ones people say he was dissing me, I ain't taking none of them like a diss. And he more than welcome to diss me all he want to, man. You know, that's Eminem. So shit, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, he can diss whoever he want to, man. Shout out to Eminem. Appreciate the shout outs, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for my 2014 shout out. You know what I'm saying? Go on, give me a fresh one, baby.
Like H-Town in the summertime, I keep it 100. Met a lot of girls in my times there, and word of Paul Wall, not one fronted. I was birthed there in my first year, man. I know that place like I come from it. Backstage at Warehouse.
Appreciate the love, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, boy, shout me out on the song, man. I love it. That's my boy, man. He, matter of fact, he in Houston while I'm in Canada. Right now, he's in Houston. He got the Houston Appreciation Week going on, man, and it's a real great look for the city, the whole movement, the sound, I mean, you know, of course, the whole city just love and embrace Drake. And ever since he teamed up with Jazz Prince, you know what I'm saying, and Jay Prince and Rap a Lot, whenever he teamed up with Jazz Prince, of course, we all just embrace them as our own, because they don't just embrace anybody themselves. So if Jazz Prince is just co-signing somebody, then off top, we all like, man, well, that's fam too. So ever since he came out the box, when they came out, you know what I'm saying, we got that Jay Prince and that Jazz Prince and Jay Jr. approval, we all behind him 100%, man. We got lumber love for Drake in the city of Houston. Well, you know, when you grow up with somebody like that, you know what I'm saying, you know somebody for that long, you always gonna have little odds and end type of things that happen. But back in the days, you know, of course, I was the refrigerator, I was a refrigerator raider. I'd come to his house and just kill that refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? But I always remember doing that, going over there, killing that refrigerator, and then his dad or somebody being like, man, who ate that, man, what? And he'd be like, man, it was Paul, man. Oh, man, I was always getting, you know what I'm saying, getting them in trouble with killing that refrigerator, man. Shout out to that boy Chamillionaire. Thank you for all them days, man. You let me come over there and just kill that refrigerator. Yeah, man, definitely. Pimp C was a big part of me and Chamillionaire ending our feud and you know, rekindling our friendship and our musical friendship too, you know what I'm saying? And I really want to shout out and thank Pimp C for doing that, because if he wouldn't have called us out on the song.
Need to sit down, take a chew, it's too much money to begin. Paul Wall in that Cooper still ain't talking. Money speak, all that bullshit keep walking.
But even before he called us out on the song, you know, he spoke to me personally. He spoke to Chamillionaire personally as well, just encouraging us to put that behind us. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was a big part of it. If it wouldn't have been for Pimp C, I don't know, you know, if it would have ever happened or been as smooth as it was. You know what I'm saying? So definitely rest in peace to Pimp C, and shout out, thank you for that, man, for hooking me back up with my boy Chamillionaire. Oh, we always joke about, man, I used to always write him letters. That was my pen pal when he was in jail, man. You know, he's one of my favorite rappers growing up, still to this day is. So he was a big role model for me, somebody I looked up to, I idolized, of course. So, you know, I wanted to sound like him. He was one of my favorites. So him going to jail, I wanted to, you know, remind him to hold his head up and keep his head up all the time, let him know we representing for him out in these streets in the world, you know, just putting on for him. We can't wait for him to come home. All them type, you know, he'd write me back, you know, saying what's up, you know, talk family talk. We always was real big on family. But when we came out of jail, one time we seen him at a video shoot. You know, we seen him. You know, we see him all the time, on several occasions. But one time we seen him at the I'm in Love with a Stripper video shoot. And you know, we always there. Too Short. Everybody that was on the remix. Mike Jones, me, Pimp C, T-Pain. And Pimp C just was teasing me. Yeah, man, Power Wow was on that square shit writing me when I was in jail. Ain't nobody else want to write me. But Power Wow was on that square shit writing me, man. I got love for Power Wow, man. You know, so that boy, yeah, man, that boy Pimp C, man, that's my boy there. Man, shout out to my boy Plain Pat. He was an A&R at Def Jam. He was Kanye's A&R when he was working on that album. He reached out to me, and of course, it all started from me hooking up with Kanye to do his grills. Me and my boy TV Johnny, we hooked up with him and made a few different sets of grills for him, and you know, that's how the friendship became. And then you know, from there, the music was just, man, it was a hell of an opportunity. Plain Pat just reached out to me, said, you know, he's working on this song. He kind of gave me like a little disclaimer, like, you know, ain't no guarantee he gonna use your verse, all that, just in case I spit a whack verse or something, you know what I'm saying, so I won't get my feelings hurt. So I appreciated the opportunity that he would even give me a shot to get on the song and drop the verse, you know what I'm saying. So I did it at my own studio in Houston, recorded it, sent it to him. He said he was feeling it, you know, he wants you to come out to LA and do it in LA. So I went out to LA, did it in LA. Of course, he loved it, you know what I'm saying, and you know, he did it, and it was a hell of a time, man, a hell of a studio time. The funny thing about the Drive Slow verse, though, originally, that was the first verse I ever wrote for the song I did, Sitting Sideways. But back in the days when I used to write my verses, I wouldn't write them to the music, I would write them to the tempo. So I would catch the tempo over a beat, then I'd go out to the car and sit in the car by myself with no music and just write to the tempo, just whatever I remember the tempo being in my head. And I just write whatever to it. And you know, so at the time, when I wrote it, my verse for Drive Slow was the first verse that I originally wrote on Sitting Sideways. But when I laid it, although it's a dope verse, especially on Drive Slow, to the beat of Sitting Sideways and the way I laid it with, you know, my delivery, it ain't match at all, so it ain't go. I knew I had some hard lines in there, some hard metaphors and stuff, so I was like, man, I ain't gonna just throw it away, but I'm gonna keep it in the archive or something, you know, I'm gonna drop it on something. And even my boy T Ferris, my manager, was the first one, was like, bro, this a hard verse, but bro, it don't go for this song, man, you know, we need something different. So, you know, I ended up writing new verses for Sitting Sideways, and I kept that verse in the vault for a while. And then Plain Pat, you know, years later, Plain Pat hit me up, man, we working on this Kanye West, man. Kanye, fuck with you want to do this song, man, what you want to do? I said, man, okay. I said, I'm sitting with the beat for Drive Slow for the longest, and I'm just like, damn. And it was around the same time, because even it was the same time I was working on Sitting Sideways, so it might have been like maybe only a month, 2 months later after I dropped Sitting Sideways, by the time I was dropping Drive Slow, so the verse was still fresh even though I just wrote it. Man, I'm just like, man, I'm trying to write other verses, and I'm just like, man, this other verse I got in the vault really go hard on this Drive Slow beat. So I made some little tweaks and twerks to it, man, you know, make the fine tuners, man, to make it go to the delivery to the beat and everything, and it went perfect, man. So praise God for that, man, you know what I'm saying? Because man, that just me doing a song with Kanye West, of course, the type of artist he is, the notoriety, all his accomplishments, the great music he's brought and given to the world, all of the great antics and stuff that we'll never forget that he's brought to the world, man, just to, you know, to have a song with him and to do a song with him. And then he let me put it on my album too. Shout out to Jay-Z. Jay-Z gave me the okay too. He let me put Drive Slow on my album, The People's Champ. So it was on Kanye's album, man, it was on my album, man. Even though it's Kanye's song, you know what I'm saying? He let me put it on my album, man. So I got number love for them boys for that. The realest shit I ever wrote gotta be from No Sleep Till Houston. First Time You Say No, because the first time you say no, it's like all them times you said yes don't mean shit. No matter how many favors you did for somebody, no matter how many times you look out for somebody, whether it's your brother, whether it's your mother, whether it's your son, or somebody that you treating or taking care of like they're your son, or taking care of like they're your best friend or your homie or whatever, man. You know, no matter what it is in life, whether it's your friend, your family, your enemy, anybody, man, you do them favors after time, you look out for somebody. But the first time you say no, all them times you say yes don't mean shit. That's the realest shit I ever wrote, man. My message to the youth is, man, watch out who you listening to, man. A lot of y'all following some blind ass people out there, man. You know, do some research before you know what I'm saying, you choose your role models, you know what I'm saying? Don't just pick a role model for what kind of clothes they're wearing, you know what I'm saying? See what's in their head or look at their actions, you know what I'm saying? You know, judge a man by his fruits, not just by the color of his leaves, you feel me? So, you know, that's my advice for the youth out there, man. Keep it chill, man. Stay pulled up.
Like Carmen says, what you would say if there was no repercussions for saying how you felt.
What's the big deal? It doesn't hurt anybody. Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
How would you like to go see the school counselor?
How would you like to suck my balls?